So, this is your first time in Grandi Langhe. How do you navigate 500 wineries?
So I actually started with pulling out the list of Equalitized certified producers
Aha.
here in Grandi Langhe.
And how many were there?
Too many.
Italian wine travel with Stevie Kim.
Okay, welcome back. My name's Stevie Kim, and this is the Italian Wine Podcast, Grandi Langhe edition 2025, as we have little chats with wine people from all over the world. And today we have with us Markus, hold on a second, let me focus, Holmberg. Is that correct?
Holmberg,
Yeah,
yes.
Holmberg. Close enough. Okay, Markus, so tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you do.
So I'm Swedish and I have been working internationally in different industries before, but my passion for wine has always been very present. So I recently joined in the wine industry, working for a importer in Sweden called Vinonik. We are very focused on premium and top wines from all types of appellations.
So tell us some of the Piemonte wineries that you already import.
We work with Vieti, which is a classic big house, elegant styles, which is amazing.
That's it?
That's who we work with. We only actually work with one Piemontese producer. As why I'm here, to see if we can enlarge our portfolio and diversify as well.
Okay, so that's a very good place to start. What kind of producers are you looking for to diversify your portfolio from Piemonte?
I'd say since the prices have gone up quite much, slightly similar to Burgundy, the Swedish consumers are looking more and more for something that is in like the mid-price range. Piemonte is extremely popular in Sweden right now, so that's why we are searching for more and more alternatives. Mid-range and also sustainability is very important for the Swedish consumers.
When you say mid-range, you're talking about price.
I talk about price.
Right?
Yeah.
And what about varieties?
So classic appellations like Langhe Nebbiolo and Barolo and Barbaresco. Swedish consumers, they need to know what they're buying. It needs to be something that they remember and so on. What we have been trying to convince the audience is quality white Italian wines, which is still a bit of uphill battle, but we see some growing interest, especially since the palate is now changing. People are more and more towards the fresher side than we've seen before.
So we hear this quite a bit, the fresher, less alcoholic.
Yeah.
Is that also true for the Swedish market?
Indeed, very much so. We've seen past 20 years a quite big decline of Veneto, Amarone, that type of style, and a large increase in Pinot Noir and Nebbiolo. So that's where we are very much.
And what are the big opportunities for Piemonte wineries for the Swedish market?
The competition within the Swedish market is already quite high. So the opportunities are to make sure that you actually can communicate yourself within that quite narrow market. I'd say, to be concrete, sustainability and quality versus price, those things is actually the most important parts.
So the sustainability is kind of a buzzword nowadays. I feel like it's overly used. But what does it mean, sustainability, for the Swedish market at the moment?
The Swedish monopoly relies on the certifications. And
Systembolaget.
Yes, exactly. So that's where it all starts. We need to certified sustainable products on the shelf. It's increased demand from the consumers, and it's also something that is part of who we are as an importer. We work, and also it's something that we see growing, and also about traceability. It needs to be concrete. You cannot just say that you work organically. You need to show how you work organically.
So, this is your first time in Grandi Langhe, because
Yes.
for the first time, how do you navigate 500 wineries? How do you go about doing this?
Well, I have to do my homework. So I actually started with pulling out the list of Equalitized certified producers
Aha.
here in Grandi Langhe.
And how many were there?
Too many. So I've also made like a selection, and there it's comparable to who are already represented in Sweden and who is not. Do they have enough quantities and so on. So kind of like methodological step by step. I come from a different background than most other people in the wine industry.
Where do you come from?
Business and marketing. So I've been working in social media advertising, in retail for Inditex at the head office in Spain and so on, and also within tech in the Swedish streaming service. So with all that in mind, I have like a methodological approach to how to approach the opportunities that I see among producers that are still not taken by other Swedish importers.
But Markus, how is wine allowed to be advertised in Sweden?
It is allowed to be advertised in Sweden. We have a possibility to present objectively the product. We cannot say, buy this wine. We cannot say, oh, this tastes so good. We can give an objective description about the wine, pairing with food and so on, and show the bottle. We cannot show the bottle together with people because that would encourage drinking.
Oh, okay. So you cannot, the restriction is the bottle with the people.
Yeah.
You know, because I have to be honest, we are, of course, doing social media advertising with wine mostly.
Yeah.
And often it's blocked in Sweden whenever there is, and I didn't understand that because they just say it doesn't, you're not compliant,
Yeah.
but we don't really actually know. So how would an Italian wine producer go about understanding exactly the guidelines, how to advertise with the Swedish audience in mind?
Fairly simple. Bottle in image, neutral background,
No people.
no people in the image, and just the basics about the product. And that means grape, that means vintage, aging, and like the very, very basics. And then, of course, a price, if it's available in the Swedish market or not.
Who is doing really a great job in the wine industry in terms of social media that come to mind?
Well, actually, I'm super biased here, but I actually think that Vieti is doing an amazing job because they have a beautiful presence without being pushy. They have a beautiful Instagram account where they are continuously posting content and also presenting it in a nice way that is not really so much about you have to drink this. They're telling a story. They're telling a story about the winery, about the wines and so on.
But they're very, you know, they're what we call very patinata, very shiny and perfect kind of feed, right? So like very Madison Avenue kind of feed. So that's what you're saying is beautiful.
No, what I'm saying is that is one part that works really well. And then we have the other part that is also quite interesting that had a quite big of success. There is another importer in Sweden that is doing a great job. And they are working very much on the more like what we used to call the hipster type of wines and also communication. And they had their own like kind of TV program where they introduce a person to have a tasting. What they put on their own account is like fine because you have a tasting and then you talk about the wine and explain. But as long as you don't say like, yeah, you need to go buy this, then it's fine. And as far as I understand, they don't put any sponsorship behind it. Okay. So they talk very much about handcraftship and also about the story of this particular little small producer, usually with a very non-Madison way, as you say, the type of advertising format. As we say.
So you know this, I could be here all day asking him 100 questions because I have so many. Because it is a very challenging world right now, the social media advertising. Today, my last question is, what are your takeaways from this event, from Grandi Langhe, that you go home with, which you would like to share with your folks back at home, whether they're colleagues or your potential customers?
Yeah, I first of all, it's worth coming. It's a beautiful event with a beautiful set of producers coming here. I like the format with all the producers, they have the same amounts of bottles, quite small amount actually. They're not allowed to show that many, which also puts some kind of like democratic approach to it, which I very much like. I think it's a beautiful range of different producers, and I would say very different because of the tastings that I've done. They are going in different directions, even though just looking in Barolo is a fairly small district, but still within Barolo, you can have so much of difference. So I say it's an excellent fair to come to
And get to meet people like me.
Exactly, exactly. That's kind of like the best part of it all.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Markus, for being with us today. And that is a wrap for now with Markus
Holmberg.
Holmberg, for the social media expert, who we will plan to tap in the future for some more chat coming soon. And that is it, Langhe 2025.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Ciao ragazzi.
Ciao.